What's something that's not a cult but feels like a cult? Salesforce. No. I don't want to build a community. Go hiking or join 100 online classes to learn the basics. Make a couple of well explained. Essential oils. We get it. You're a single mom and you want to work from home. But damn, you guys sure drank the Kool-Aid. Beachbody, especially the coaches. The Herbalife organization. They were charged with being a pyramid scheme. But they still operate in a similar way. There are several people I grew up with who became hooked on it. And they definitely act like they're in a cult. Some workplaces. The ones that push the "we're all family here" attitude especially. MLMs, but especially Mary Kay. I went to a convention once as the guest of a consultant because she was trying to get me to join. It was very step forward. Also, she didn't tell me you were expected to dress up, so I showed up in jeans and a hoodie. NutriBoom. I just went through at least 24 top replies and shocked Burning Man isn't listed. Psilocybin are eyeing weird. Source. I was one who has critical thoughts about how things work, yet have found ideas are only cool if you're popular. The Holy Church of CrossFit. Call me Kevin subscribers. It's not a cult. Curly girl method groups. Flatiron. Jail. Hair dye. Jail. Sulfates. You right to jail. Silicones. Right to jail. Right away. No deep conditioning. Believe it or not. Jail. We have the best hair in the world because of jail. Forced school songs that talk about being a part of the school forever. School spirit. I can understand it for university. But not for high school or below. Which I didn't have a choice in attending. I went there because it was the school I ended up being sent to. Ergo I should be proud of it? I don't get it. AA. I am in AA. I like AA. It saved my life. But it is cultish a lot of the time. CrossFit. I have lived in Pennsylvania my entire life. And it would be hard to convince me that Penn State is not a cult. If you listen to people who have graduated Penn State, you know. No other college is as good as Penn State. No other college has sports like Penn State. No other colleges teach subjects like Penn State. No other college has a building like Penn State. No other college allows their students to use the library like Penn State. No other college lets their students use the bathrooms like Penn State. No other college has a roof that stops rain like Penn State. No other college allows students to walk down the sidewalk like Penn State. If any other college has anything, you bet your ass Penn State has it at least twice as good. I hate college pride. And Penn State gets the most of it in my area. Edit. I'm getting all these comments further confirming the existence of the cult of the lion. Working for a non-profit. They tend to refer to employees as a family working for a cause. Which wouldn't be culty on its own. But they definitely use it to manipulate employees to work themselves half to death and set a culture where boundaries are thought of as not being invested in the mission. They also use your passion for the mission to justify working you harder, paying you less. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love my job and what I get to do. But I'm old enough to see what's been done to me over the years. The rotating door of young employees who are worked to burn out and replaced, though. I feel bad for. It's a hard lesson to learn. Edit. Whoa. 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 Thank you all for the genuinely kind comments. Feedback and commiseration. Eating disorders and any pro-eating disorder sites. Those who have an eating disorder often view their disorder as their best friend, giving them names like Anna and Mia. And then there are those sites to make it worse. They treat eating disorders like they are sacred and often post rules in a cultish way. One site I used to visit in my dark days even had the 10 commandments of Anna. Now if that doesn't sound cultish, IDK, what does? Don't even make me start about the weightless coaches on there. Edit. I'm glad to read the stories of everyone here who overcame their eating disorder. I'm proud of you. It's a hard journey at any point. I hope that many more people will recover from that disorder. That's why I'm glad that people are here to spread awareness. Thank you. Peloton. Seriously. My dad hasn't stopped talking about it since getting it a year ago and went so far as to buy me one for Christmas this year. Which is super generous and my fat ass will totally benefit. But feels like I'm being indoctrinated into something. The instructors are really intense and say culty things. I think the idea is to physically torture you to the point that you don't notice you're being programmed to spread Peloton gospel to anyone who will listen. I've been so bored that joining a cult where I get hotter sounds okay though. Time to sort by controversial. Texas A&M University. Edit. My first gold and platinum, thank you all so much. Working at Amazon. Hell. Just interviewing with Amazon feels like an initiation with all the leadership principles and whatnot. The Order of the Arrow and the Boy Scouts. Technically an approved organization. But it's cultish as hell. It's funny. Because they make you do this big induction camp out. And the day after I got back from mine, my English teacher gave a lecture on how to identify a cult. And it hit a lot of red flags. Edit. Good lord. Apparently nothing gets people talking like reminiscing about being in a cult. I thought someone was calling me because I was getting so many messages. People who own Thermomix machines spend that much on an over elaborate food processor and I guess you need to double down, but man, they just won't shut the up about how it changed their life. Oh, cooking is so different for me now. Oh, it's just so convenient. Having said that, I did once go to a OSA Thermomix party where they try to mind wash you into they're not a cult. Because the lady that invited me was recently divorced and pretty hot and I figured why not give it a shot. I never particularly liked her ex-husband. So could have been a multi-bird stone throw. I barely made it out alive without my wallet being light and a couple of grand. Man. The sales pressure was intense. Our mechanical keyboards. Some fandoms. Especially K-pop fandoms. Multi-level marketing. Some families. If you're inside the family, you are accepted no matter what and you don't question anything. If you're outside the family, you are treated politely but don't really matter much unless you act as part of the family. If you were part of the family, but betray them, you are excommunicated and they spread lies about you. Disney. If you've ever known anyone who has worked at Disneyland, they will talk your ear off about how it's the happiest place on earth and how lucky they are to work there. Well. Marching band. If you know, you know. Anus anus. High school clubs where you spend a lot of time together. Marching band and theatre are the ones that come to mind for me. Football club fans. Especially the organized group of supporters. I didn't find any specific word in English. But I meant clacks. Torcidus organizadus. etc. Edit. I found that they're called ultras in English. Edit 2. I'm referring to the game played with the feet. Edit 3. Back in my university years I was in a student organization named OSASIC which offered students international apprenticeships. For me it totally felt like a cult. Sororities. Hoa. Mega churches. The ones that air on TV with a crowd that rivals sports teams. Owns sports arenas and has its pastors fly in private jets. There. I said it. A few years ago, my sister introduced me to a new church. I forgot what it was called. Anyway, once I came inside, I realized it was weird the moment I came in. First, they asked for my email address near the entrance, which would have been weird on its own. But after a few minutes of preaching, weirdness ensued. There were a lot of people praying loudly, hollering how great Jesus. Some people were praying on the bare floor. I don't even know how to describe this. Even my sister joined in. Once it was over, I drove home, feeling a bit creeped out. I only went there once and I'm not planning on coming back again anytime soon. I don't know about other churches, but this one was, in a word, bizarre. Edit. Diet culture. Keto. Paleo. Dash. Flat Earth Society. Their inability to understand that the earth is not flat baffles me to oblivion. The hardcore deaf community. I'm talking the kind who insist that being deaf isn't a disability. Intentionally seclude themselves from the hearing world. Anyone remember Tumblr before it got sold and they banned the PRN? That was scary. Dashkin. Miss Apocalypse. OLWI's RA blog. The MCRMY. Dan and Phil. Super Hellock in general. The Homestuck vs Hetalia wars. Sending death threats to people who shipped your knot. The girl who made jewelry out of gravel-robbed bones. I could go on. Reddit sometimes. The USA. The Apple. Consumer base. Fan base? I don't know. They just feel like a cult. Edit. And just like that, the defensive fanbase crawls out of the woodwork to protest too much. Nailed it. You guys do have situational awareness, right? Oh. Who am I kidding? Of course you don't. Also, gaming. Sometimes. I say this as someone who loves gaming, but would hesitate to call himself a gamer due to the negative connotation associated with the term. Trump supporters. American football. I know people who don't bother voting because they feel it doesn't matter. If their football team loses though, end of the world. They buy branded everything too. Kitchen knives and shoes and stickers for their cars and so many other things. Also no one at my work gets any work done during football season. Football is literally all they care about. It's such an annoying cult and I hate it. Trump supporters. Singing McDonald's songs in the play area during a friend's birthday at McDonald's, eating McDonald's burger and painting out pictures of Ronald McDonald. Christianity. Penn State. Politics. Treating politicians like your favorite sports teams is why we are in this mess. Bikram Hot 26 yoga. Wine moms. This stereotype popped up somewhere in the last 10 years. It seems to equate the follies of motherhood with the need for wine. There's memes, shirts, stickers, cups, mommy's sippy cup wink wink. It's just bizarre. But here I am, clicking the upvote and all like button because I am afraid to tell people I don't drink wine at all. Ever. Wawa. I am a card-carrying Wawa cultist. They don't exist where I live. And my first stop after getting off the plane is the sacred shrine. Modern social justice ideology. Magats. Vegans. Otakus. Psychonauts. Football fans. Furries. Most religions. Veganism. People who worship politicians like they will magically solve everything. I'm talking both far right and far left. Martial arts. I am with you there. 20 years experience in Taekwondo. I've went to international events and it's culty and sorely predatory damn near all the time. LGBTQ plus community when you're not involved enough feels like a cult tbh. I'm slightly involved. The Super Smash Bros. Series fandom. Seriously. As a fan of the series, I still can't get over how dedicated and obsessed many of the fans are with the series. I know this can happen with any video game series, but they seem to be on another level. Some of them have literally every movement and technique memorized with every character in every game of the series, and even memorize how those characters progressed and which stages they excel on. Look into the best SSB players in the world, regardless of which game of the series. They have it down to a science. They actually know when to hit and when to dodge, etc. based on the exact damage percentage of each character for each game. Some of them have been playing the first game for 21 consecutive years just to master every single movement and square inch of the game. The craziest form of dedication is when they play the longest one-player modes without taking 1% of damage with every character in the series. I just can't. Like, how? The Republican Party and the Democratic Party. 4chan. The Trump campaign. Political party I dodge with. 21 Pilots fanbase. The GOP. Anything Tesla or Elon Musk. The I'm Trump administration and the Proud Boys. Weight Watchers. American patriotism. From an outside perspective, it's really cult-like with all the literal flag waving. The flag being all over the place and on clothing, etc. Reciting the pledge every morning in schools. The national anthem and having to stand with your hand on your heart at sporting events, etc. This isn't meant to be anti-American America, but it just really seems cult-like from an outside perspective. Vegans. Don't get me wrong. Eat whatever the hell you want. But some vegans are way intense. I have a very different experience. I've been a meat eater for 30 years. A vegetarian for 5 years and a vegan since pretty recent. I have never met vegans or vegetarians that were preachy or judgmental. Ever. But in the last 5 years I have endured so much from meat eaters. It's crazy. Telling me I'm a hypocrite. Assuming that I look down on them. Pointing out that I have leather shoes, like it would make sense to throw them away. I was very ill last year. Think brain aneurysm. But not exactly that. And my family told me it was my own fault for not eating meat. I'm sorry you've had bad experiences with vegans though. It sucks when people judge you for living your life. Alcoholics Anonymous. The Trump fan club sure feels like it fits here. The Trump supporters who still think that Trump's the president and that the election was rigged. QAnon. Any extremist political party. Vegans. Mormons and MAGA. Social justice. Anyone with a different opinion is the worst person ever. An enemy that deserves the worst. They only value their like-minded circle, and it's within this circle that their whole life revolves. A world of only black and white. Friend or foe. School. People who like Nutella. I swear to God they talk about Nutella as if it's symbolic of the second coming of Christ or some. Mormonism. Chick-fil-A employees. It's my pleasure to serve you. Summer camps. Chanting around the campfire. Belief in the old camp legends. Blue Oyster Cult. Fans of the Grateful Dead. Trump supporters. Home coffee brewing. The folks at our coffee are devoted. You sound like someone who doesn't brew at 186. Sports, especially American football. Vegans. Won't shut up about how great their lifestyle is. And how much better they are than you for living it. Then pushing it on you MLM style. The Roman Catholic Church and other religions. Anti-vaxxers. I don't care who you support, you can't tell me that MAGA supporters aren't a cult. The military. MAGA Trumpers. Religion. The woke left. Anti-vaxxers. Republicanism. The ideology of letting people pick out representatives. And then have those representatives work to continue it is cultish. It's better than authoritarian rule, fascism, or mob rule, direct democracy. If you mean the GOP. Social justice movements. Most religions. Alcoholics Anonymous for sure. Texas. We even had a state flag pledge in school, and I am unaware if any other states did the same thing. The US military, but especially the army. Indoctrination isn't hyperbole. Religion. Vegans. SJW. SW fans. PETA. Greenpeace. MAGA. Apple fans. Occult. Cato. Did you know that you can make mac and cheese but with cauliflower? And you can make mashed potatoes but with cauliflower? And you can make fried rice but with cauliflower? 6th grade classes. Academia. Diet culture. Like legit. They go waste hundreds or even thousands of dollars just to have some pseudoscientific not doctor tell them to cut out red meat so they can lose 1 more pound. By next year the same guy will tell them to get on a red meat only diet. I get it if you actually feel unhealthy or overweight. But most dieters I know are already underweight. It's actually really sad. College Greek organizations. MAGA. MAGA. Adults who go to Disney every year, with no kids, and are obsessed with Disney. Moms that hang out exclusively with other moms. Walking their toddlers. Sitting around the playground. Church. Politics. Lately. Middle high school band. Regular bathing. You have to do a ritual daily. There's consequences to your health if you stop. You're encouraged to not associate with people who don't bathe regularly. Not bathing regularly leads to you being unable to get jobs or form friendships or relationships. People who don't bathe regularly are ostracized and called names. Sounds like a cult to me. Okay, stinky. Jehovah's Witnesses. Just admit it's a cult. Former JW. Edit. Thanks for the award. O circumflex Y with diaresis copyright airing. Also the fact that they call people who don't participate worldly and can't call them friends. And they literally shun people. My mom told the elders I had sex because she went through my phone, so they reduced my privileges like participating in Bible study, which was a huge thing and people noticed. I was 15. The adults told their kids not to speak to me. I left a month after. Funerals. Specifically, funeral companies. A dead person has no desires. No wishes. Their grieving relatives go to some funeral company and are given the hard sell while they're at their most vulnerable. It's such a blatant racket. My instructions on death are just to burn my corpse in private and let anyone who cares grieve with whomever they choose. Like, am I going out with some nonsense involving you acute. No clerics. No gods. No masters. No ceremony. Just a decaying collection of cells being burned to save on ground space and other people's money. Funeral companies are literally taking advantage of people because we're all inured to see death as something literally vital that is literally not. That is a cult. Tesla Elon fandom. Christianity. Edit. All religious groups are some form of cult. Can you please stop saying CHRESTIA equals 500. Islam equals -190. It's annoying. The fanboyism of things like PS4 or PS5 versus Xbox versus PC. I thought for sure that when I took part in these discussions it was just because I was a stupid-ass 20-year-old. But there are definitely still middle-aged men arguing over this stupid-ass. My bet's that all the epically smart atheists will come out and say Christianity. Edit. Bernie Brothers. I like some of Sanders' ideas too. But I don't think he is America's savior. Supernatural fans. Theater class. Organized religion. Any religion tbh. Conservative Christians. GOP. Vegans. Pick a religion. Our atheism has definitely turned what should be the polar opposite of a cult into an actual cult. Islam? every mainstream religion we just accept like it's a normal thing in everyday life. The United States Marine Corps. Mormonism. MAGA hands down. Mouth Brothers. Bitcoin. Church in general if they want your time and money. MAGA. Beyonce's followers and seemingly the way she thinks about herself. At least from the outside looking in. Her achievements make zero sense to me. Nothing about what she does is groundbreaking. There's just that cult of personality surrounding her that makes her mediocre music into some sort of borderline religious experience for her weird fans. Fraternities. American school that make kids pledge allegiance to the flag every morning. That's higher level indoctrination right there. I don't know if it reaches cult status, but BD owners often sound like religious fanatics. Sure. But first let me tell you how clean my arsehole feels. The Order of the Arrow in Boy Scouts. Republican Party. Sweat to God. The die-hard Brexiters. If they're not declaring that Nigel Farage deserves a knighthood, they're lambing off about World War II. The 66 World Cup or something else equally ridiculous. If you argue with their baseless claims, you're a sore loser. Ramona. Can be spotted from the sheer amount of British and or English flags in their Twitter usernames. Edit. Christianity. Christianity. Reddit. USANGL. Jedi. All things Cosmere Sanderson. I mean, I like it. And it's a big brain fandom, but I sorta dread explaining it to anyone who's clueless. The Osa Cannabis Cures All Medical Problems crowd. Trumpers. There. I said it. How brave of you. MAGA. Elon Musk's fan followers. Scientology. Real cult. Doesn't count. Trumpsters. Flat earthers. But only cause they don't have the balls to be a cult. Point Krause murder. Twitch following. White mom speed walking groups. The Kardashian followers. Anasanas. Memento Mori. Improv. Islam. I'd say the GOP. Apraquelmums. It's treason. The Joyo fandom. Political parties. They have red hats. They cosplay being in the army. They give a load of money to a scam artist. They're nostalgic about the good old days of slavery and white supremacy. Country unknown. Maybe you can help me figure it out? I have nothing against LGBT plus people. Love whoever you want and be whoever you want. Oh yes, that's true. I used to know someone who was bullied out of her school's LGBTQ plus club because she was bisexual and her dating a guy was betrayal. Did they forget what the B in LGBTQ plus stands for? Trump voters. Wokism. Wait. It is a cult. Hockey in Canada. Rep hockey makes people pay hundreds of dollars just to try out, full well knowing there is no shot in hell of them making the team. If you do make it, you have to dedicate your life to it, and do the same as a parent of said player, and there is a belief that one day your son will make the NHL or be on Team Canada for female players. Those that do not make the rep hockey continue to play lower level hockey with the hope that they will be called up or make it next year. The amount of abuse hurdles at teenage hockey refs by players, coaches and parents is nuts. Multiple junior leagues are being investigated for widespread abuse of players. Hazing has left players with severe trauma, and racism is beyond what you can imagine. And it's a sport for the elite because you need money to pay for hockey or make yourself be broke to support hockey. The belief that a $300 hockey stick or $1,000 skates will make your kid better just adds fuel to this fire. Owning a Subaru. Craft beer bourbon. Reddit. Vegans. Religions. All of them. Freemasonry. The teachings and practices of the secret fraternal, men only, order of free and accepted Masons. The largest worldwide secret society. Ines Hololive Group. The whole Hololive fandom is a cult of degenerate weebs with weird personalities and fetishes. And I am one of them. The Landmark Forum. Most people that own Jeep Wranglers. Amway. It's a sham and the DeVos family makes millions off their gullible followers. Working at an Apple store. Was gonna say Christianity, but then I was like, oh yeah, that's def an acknowledged cult. Very edgy. Trump supporters. Organized religion. Veganism. The Republicans and Democrats political parties. Telsa Musk fans. Please note that most Tesla drivers are not a cult because they are seeing what cars they are and are going back to Mercedes, Audi and BMW. Anus Anus. People who say Stan, Queen and Yas. Catholic Church. My whole family is Catholic and they say and do some scary. Trumpism. US Republican Party. Anti-vaxxers. And I guess a lot of the new age stuff closely resembles or has all what it takes to fall under the category of a cult. Def Eckhart Tolle Sajhiru and Deepak Chopra crap is could be considered cult-like. And of course,